to do today.
The whole new acronym thing drives me effing bananas. Can we call him by his name?
Felger and Maz on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
An ugly couple of games for the Boston Celtics, but as the final seconds tick off the clock, as generations have before us, we're going to get a seventh game between the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers. The final score in Game 6, Philadelphia 106, Boston 93.
DraftKings, Felger out today. Maz has been out all week. So you get the three substitute teachers of yours truly. Jim Murray, Cerrone Battle in the Maz chair. Hello.
What's going on?
And Michael Hurley, who I was just saying, I don't think I've seen in person in 3 years at least.
It's been a long time, but it's like riding a bicycle, seeing me like, oh, there he is.
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
You don't age, too. High five your folks. You got good genetics.
If I am not, I figured by now I'd be like mostly bald and gray. So I figured if I could get through the past year without it, I'm good.
Very good.
Knock on wood.
It's an agenda-free Friday. It's brought to you by Catch's Law. At Catch's, they specialize in helping those who have been injured, not only by a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. If this sounds like you, then visit catcheslaw.com. Well, as I normally would say on an agenda-free Friday with the substitute teachers, and I'd like to do the substitute teacher thing and roll in the proverbial television and dim the lights and pop in Schindler's List, but there's a lot at hand here, especially when it comes to your Boston Celtics, Cerrone, and I never in a million years would have thought that they would have lost that game last night, because usually, as has been the Celtic experience with Brown, Tatum, Joe Mazzulla, yeah, they'll have a frustrating game in the playoffs, and you're scratching your heads, and you're wondering about the play style, and then they bounce back and beat that team that they're facing by 20 or 30 points. That's what I fully expected to happen last night in Philadelphia, and I don't know about the both of you, but that went right out of the window for me almost immediately when Derek White, who's certainly been struggling, is missing point-blank layups with no one in his face. Mm-hmm. That awful travel call, and he looks like a man in turmoil, I'm sure, maybe after this season, and I hope it keeps going, obviously, that we're going to hear something like is going on with him. I hope it's nothing super serious, but he just looks like something off there. It's not just I think he's tight on the floor or there's an injury. It just feels like a man in turmoil when I watch him, and after that, I was like, oh, we're in for a long night. This is going to be a disaster, and sure enough, it was. I can't believe not only did they lose last night, but it was kind of a no-show from the get-go.
Yeah, it was, and I held out hope for a little while, like, oh, they're down 6, they're down 7. The run is coming. Here comes the run, and it was like, okay, Kelly Oubre, he's outplaying these wings. Okay, he's wide open on the baseline again. Okay, he's open again. Then it was, Edgecombe with the dunk on the break when he goes coast to coast. I'm like, okay, there's a real lack of what looks like effort to me here, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better, and it just got worse and worse until he put the B team in, and I'm sitting there like, okay, they just cut it to 8 in like 2 minutes, but by then they ran out of time, but it looked like a lack of effort from the beginning.
Yeah, and to me it was your stars weren't stars. I mean, the moment to me was Jaylen Brown, I forget who he shoved with the forearm, all the way to the floor. They call the obvious offensive foul, and he turns and wants to review. And it's like, what planet is this on? And I just think we underestimated the it factor that it takes to win these playoff series. We said, oh, you lost to the Knicks last year. It was an anomaly. You were the defending champs. You were tired, all this stuff. I think that's them. So they could win tomorrow night by 30 again, like they have twice in the series. Mm-hmm. I don't think it matters. Like, I think the Knicks are just tougher than them and are going to just plow through them the way that a Sixers team that is nowhere near their level has done 3 times now.
Yeah, and normally I feel like I'd come in here and complain about the three-point shooting, but that's not even my biggest gripe last night. For me, it's their free throw shooting. I think I get it. It's kind of a it's a basic thing to say, given my expectations, but there's things that are so rudimentary with what you do at your job that you just expect them to be, rudimentary. Like, you shouldn't have to think about it. It's like asking an electrician, can you put light bulbs in for me? Like, it shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. Hurley, if I asked you to write 1,000 words on Deflategate, like, you could do it falling out of bed.
Give me 7 minutes.
As a professional NBA player, I get you're not going to hit all of them, but can you shoot, I don't know, say you get to the free throw line 8 times. I expect you to make at least 6.
Yeah.
You're shooting 72.6% from the free throw line during this series, 12th out of 16 teams, and you're the Boston Celtics with your talent level? That's embarrassing. And that also speaks to, so like I said, maybe Derek White looks like a guy in turmoil to me. What's going on here? And again, that no-show and the lack of effort early, too, it felt like. Because when you saw the bench guys come in, you're like, where's this been all night? This level of effort.
Yeah, how'd they figure it out instantly?
Yeah.
On both ends. Like, they had Philly scramps. Philly had to put their starters back in the game. They started bringing guys back in. Like, wait a minute.
You can tell Nick Nurse realized, like, wait a minute here, guys. Like,
I can get fired tonight if y'all don't get this together. But, I mean, I don't understand what's going on. To me, it was a lot of last two games, a lot of hero ball from the stars. Feeling like not so much, Jim's doing this thing, let me do my thing. Or, or he's doing Hurley doing this thing, let me get mine. It was more like everybody wanted to get them out of trouble. Like, I'll do it. Like, everybody, instead of saying, let's play as a team here. Let's figure out what's going on. Let's slow down, read the room here, move the ball, get in position, do the basic stuff first. Make our free throws. And I know that's a good point by you. A lot of people will say, well, the score wasn't close enough, even if they'd have made the free throws. It's like, no, there was times in the game where they had a lead, or it was tied, or they were down 2 when they're missing 2 free throws. Not just one, they're missing both. So it would kill momentum. It would, it would get the crowd back into the game. So they need to slow down and do the basic stuff first. Tatum, I thought he was on his way. It looked like to a big night. I think he had like a double-double in the first quarter or something like that. And then out of nowhere, it was like, well, that's the last rebound I'm getting tonight. And everything just kind of started falling apart. Brown was pressing. Derek White was pressing. Pritchard, they kind of tried to put the clamps on him. And everybody else seemed like they were out of it. But the offensive fouls. Jaylen Brown keeps doing that because he can't beat these guys. He can't get past them. So instead, I'm going to force my way through. And now Oubre's just crumbling to the floor every time Jaylen Brown touches them because they figured him out. Dude, do something else. Move the ball. Get somebody else to match up. And it was none of that. And it looked like from the coaches down to the last guy, they were scrambled eggs and couldn't figure out a way to get out of it mentally more than anything else.
And I just think, last night was terrible, but it's a snowball from Tuesday night where they had a chance to win at home and just get it over with, and that was one of the sloppiest games. They were fumbling rebounds. There was a play where Keita got a rebound and just threw it between his own legs and was like, oh, well.
He didn't even go to the floor to get it.
Yeah, they were like, well, we're still going to win, right? And it's just the first moment where you're just like, they're not engaged. And when you do that, you run the risk of a team generating confidence, generating just this ability to beat you. And to me, it brings back, remember 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago, first round against the Hawks. They're up 3-1. I think DeJounte Murray got suspended for game 5. And it's just like, all right, this is the easiest of easiest wins. And they go out and just lose. And then they have to go to Atlanta and they don't get the rest and all this stuff. And it's just like, we forgot that that's kind of who they are. They won last year, like 2 years ago. Sorry, this was 3 years ago then. Don't count on my math. So this was the year before they won. And it's like, oh, well, they won. They figured it out. This feels so much like that I think this is more who they are than the championship here.
Yeah, look, even if they win tomorrow night, and I think that they will, question mark, now them getting to the finals is no longer a formality for me. I thought this would be over in 5 games at most. I called it a failure that they went to 6, that they're in 7 against the 76ers, which, by the way, have we underrated this team? Or is this more the Celtics issues than anything else?
From the Sixers' point of it, everybody thought they'd be a good team going into the season. But Paul George gets suspended for 25 games for PDs, whatever it was. Embiid out for different reasons, in and out. They never Maxey missed some time. They never were together. I think they said they had played like 5 games with the whole 5 all season. So the Celtics, unfortunately, are getting the best of the 76ers that everybody thought they were going to get all season. That being said, the Celtics are up 3-1 in this series. They won 3 games against this team. They can beat this team. You can't let Paul George continue to shoot, I want to say 50-50 for the series.
I'm going to round off for effect, Cerrone. He's basically 40 years old. That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. He's shooting like 50, like I'm saying 50% from the floor and like 45 from 3. You can't allow that. You can't let that happen. Part of the reason Jaylen Brown was pushing, and a lot of people pushing for him to be MVP, because he was a two-way player. He's a two-way defender. Well, which one of these guys are you going to defend? Maxey's having a career series. Paul George looks like he did 10 years ago, and you're letting these guys go off. Something's got to give on the defensive end to get you guys going. And I looked it up. I thought Embiid was killing them last night. He was like 6 for 18 or something like that. He didn't have a hot night. I think he had like 19 and 10 rebounds or whatever.
He had open looks, though, just weren't dropping,
He just weren't hitting them. Yeah, I mean, it's just, but everybody else was doing their thing. 2 games ago, Grimes had 18 off the bench. You can't let these guys get going. Kelly Oubre are getting 14, 15 points, comfortably scoring and shooting shots. You can't allow that. You got to be a better defensive team, which will lead to better offense on the other end. But that comes back to, where's the effort? Where's the energy? There's no one diving. There's no one getting their teeth knocked out on the floor. They're not even yelling like being aggressive like with each other or with the opponent. It's something's not there, and I don't understand what it is.
But to your point too, Mike, is that I expected them. I think the East stinks. Maybe they'll get in a little bit of a battle with the Knicks because of last year, and the Knicks have confidence against the Celtics, but it won't be a big deal. Now, if they do get past the 76ers tomorrow night, I don't think they're going to get past New York.
No, and I mean, look at what the Magic are doing. Like, there's teams that are playing hard, like that aren't as talented as the teams that they're beating, and I think this is the case. The one person I did underestimate, I know you brought up Embiid's shooting last night. They don't know what to do when Joel Embiid is playing. It's like there's been enough time to adjust. This is not a new player.
Yeah.
And Mazzulla was asked about it after the game last night, and the answer was the same stock. We got to play better. We just got to hit our shots. And it's like, no, you need to change what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because this guy, even when he shoots 6 for 18, is impacting the game with his rebounds, with his assists, with everyone drawing to him because they can't defend him one-on-one. It is at this point, like, you learned the first game. You beat him. He played pretty well. All right. They probably assumed, let's just keep doing that. It's okay. It's not, because now you've lost 2 in a row where you have no answers. For Joel Embiid in the playoffs, like that's not an acceptable thing. If you end up losing, that's not an acceptable reason why.
And when he goes down, too, there was a couple of falls. It was like big tree fall hard. I was like, he ain't getting up. And then, late in that game, he's banging out some push-ups to show the toughness. It's like, I know it's showmanship, but I didn't expect him, like you, Mike, this guy to look the way he's looked, especially coming back from an appendectomy, his myriad injuries, that I think he's kind of a bum. He's been really good in these last couple of games.
But they're not making him do the hard things.
Well, you said, run him ragged,
they're not
right?
making. I would say, okay, you know what? Let's go small. Let's try something else, just for a stretch. If nothing else is working, which nothing else is working, let's go small. Tatum's leading rebounder in the series. No one can defend Embiid one-on-one. You can double team him, all that stuff. I'd go small. I put Tatum at 5, Brown at 4, and then any other way you want to lay it out after that. Even off of made baskets, everybody sprint up the court. Let's see if Embiid can play a track meet on the road in Boston tomorrow with the crowd getting on him. Let's see if he can do those push-ups after we sprint up and down the floor. And I keep doing that. And when he gets the ball, you double him. And because you're small, you can now rotate and get back in position. But trying to throw Cater out there and say, all right, Cater, you got the MVP. That's on you. That's not going to work on either end. And because of that, it's 5-on-4, like I mentioned yesterday when the Celtics got the ball. They're not worried about Cater's shooting or his offensive ability. So Embiid's allowed to roam. They're allowed to trap and get in the passing lanes because they don't have 5 legit scorers on the floor, and it just clogs things up in the lane. But he's not going to adjust, and he feels like we talked about yesterday. Eventually it's going to work, and we'll get it to work 4 times out of 7, and we'll move on. And it's like, dude, that's not a recipe for success.
And that's where coaching comes in, because Embiid returns game 4. I think Maxey had 3 shots in the first half.
Yep.
And it was like you had your best player stifled because you put him back in. And guess what? Nick Nurse, a pretty good, experienced championship NBA coach, says, all right, we got to redo what we're doing. We got to adjust what we're doing. And they've won 2 games in a row since. Maxey's been electric again after that quick blip. So it's just like, these are the things, when you play the same team over and over again, you have to adjust. And the Celtics are just saying, we'll still win.
Yeah.
Here you are.
We normally go around the room for opening takes on an agenda-free Friday, but it's going to be heavy on the Celtics here over the next 4 hours, and rightfully so, because I can't believe they're in a Game 7 with the 76ers tomorrow night at TD Garden, which, if you're a glass-half-empty type person like I am, came out of the room pessimistic, heard Tom Morgan talking about it on Beetle and Zoe and Beetle earlier today, it could be a real bleak 24 hours at TD Garden starting tonight with the Bruins and the Celtics Game 7. But we'll get your calls at 617-779-0985 here on an agenda-free Friday on Felger and Maz with Jim Murray, Cerrone Battle, and Michael Hurley. Your calls coming up next.
Now, more of Felger and Maz on the Sports Hub.
It's positive right now. Everyone in Boston is downplaying anything with Jason Tatum, that this was even an injury. Joe Mazzulla denied that it was an injury at all.
Right.
Jason Tatum said after the game that it was just stiffness that he felt in his leg. I'm told Jason Tatum told some teammates after the game he's fine, he's good to go. So I think the expectation in Boston is Game 7. Jason Tatum is all good.
Good to go. Joe Mazzulla said earlier today, good to go. Do we believe him? Level of concern, given the injury he's just coming off of? I know it's the other leg, but how do you manage this?
I mean, it's just pile it on with everything else. It's just something else on top of the situation. This is what happens when you allow series to go longer than they should. Injuries pile up. This is why even if they win this series, they got to immediately turn around and play the Knicks, who were up 55 of whatever it was and was able to rest everybody and get extra days of rest. And you come into another series beat up if they win tomorrow. So this is why you're supposed to, get rid of these teams, get it over with, win this thing in 5. And you'd been rested. Tatum wouldn't have this issue going on with his leg, and you can move on. Dirk White gets to see a different opponent, a different arena, all these things. But now you've put yourself in a tough spot. You got injuries with your star players, and guys are cold. Guys looking at each other. We're questioning the coaching staff. This is what happens when you let this stuff linger. And it's not the first time. You've mentioned a couple series from before. This is similar to the Sixers series, I think the year they won it, when James Harden. Remember, they let James Harden come in the Garden and light them up and extend that Philly series to the point they got down 3-2, and then Tatum had the big game in Philly.
That was right after the Hawks series.
That was right. That was same run. Yeah. So we've seen this from this team before. We've seen them, even though they won against the Pacers in 4 or 5, whatever it was, every game came down to the last few plays because they were playing with their food over and over again. They beat the Heat in the first round a couple years ago. They blew them out, go down to Miami, get blown out. Porzingis hurts his ankle or whatever it was. He's out of the game. So we've seen this from this team. But, again, I think them winning those series eventually is why Mazzulla is like, it'll eventually work. It always does until you get a situation like Tatum last year and his Achilles. That series was over.
Would you put any consideration in not playing him tomorrow night?
Oh. I would. They played well without Jason Tatum this year. Like, that's the thing. It's not they were some floundering, helpless team. They were the 2 seed in the East. He played, 16 games at the end of the year. He's been great. He's been awesome. But I think you can beat this Sixers team without him. I think you'd rather have him. But if there's actual concern that you're going to do damage, you have to sit him. And the thing I worry about, because everyone automatically goes like, oh, well, you're coming back from one injury. You overcompensate with the other. I don't know, when you're 20-plus games in, is that still... If this was like game 3 of him being back, you'd be scared of that. Yeah. I don't think that's the thing, but I do worry about his headspace. And that's not even an insulting, mocking way. Like, he's going through a lot of mental anguish or whatever. When he went to the Madison Square Garden and went down on the court in the same spot where he got injured, like he talked about, they lost that night, and he's like, but it was good for me to get through this. Like, he's working about it. Yeah. He's working through a lot of mental adversity. If you throw in the fact that he has to think about this, and they say he's not hurt, right? Like last night the game ends, he's not hurt. Why didn't he play at all after exiting late in the third quarter? If he's not hurt, he's thinking he's hurt, and that might be just as bad. So yeah.
If there's one team, I don't take any team's word when it comes to injuries, but of the big 4 here, the Celtics are number 1. Oh, Kemba Walker's fine. Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with Kyrie Irving's knee. Oh, Isaiah Thomas is just fine.
Kevin Garnett's okay.
Kevin Garnett's fine.
He'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, no, Rob Williams, no issue there. No, he's fine, good to go. No, I think, look, you want him to play tomorrow night, but to Michael's point, you've gotten to this far kind of without him for most of the season. I think it's something they should consider. They have to factor in, Cerrone, the long-term health of Jason Tatum before tomorrow night's game.
You have to think about it. You have to legit know that he's fine. He has to know he's fine because all these guys that had these Achilles injuries, every single one of them, it started off as a simple calf strain. Tyrese Halliburton, Kevin Durant,
right.
Jason Tatum. Now it's a calf. It'll be fine. And the next thing you know, they're out. Giannis had the calf strain, and he just said, I'm just staying out. Yeah, he didn't want to risk it. So if a guy goes down, he's holding his calf, he's holding his ankle, whatever, Tatum has got to be thinking, what if the next step is the one? What if that's the one? Now I'm dealing with this again. It's got to be on his mind. And I think they looked up at the scoreboard and said, you know what, man, go ahead and sit down. He yanked everyone basically to start the fourth quarter. But going into tomorrow night, I think you have to use your whole roster anyway. It's the reason you were the 2 seed. You played everybody. Gonzalez, Shireman, Walsh, all these guys have to play for you to beat the Sixers. That's your advantage because if you say my best 5 versus your best 5, it's like, well, Paul George is a borderline Hall of Fame talent. Embiid is Hall of Fame talent. Maxey's one of the best young guards in the league. Exum could have been Rookie of the Year the way he was going. You're nowhere near as athletic as they are. Can you match them 5 versus 5? I don't think you can. Your strength is in your 12 versus their 5 or 6 guys, and Mazzulla is kind of getting away from that as the series goes on.
All right, to your calls here on an agenda-free Friday. Obviously going to be very Celtics-heavy today at 617-779-0985. Gino in the car, you're first up here on an agenda-free Friday on Felger and Mass.
What's going on, guys? So real quick before I get to a Red Sox point, which is what I called for, I really appreciate your insight on all of this, Cerrone. Like, you're very smart in describing what the Celtics need to do, but in my opinion, just we are what we are, and I don't think any of that is going to happen. You know, I don't see it, especially with Mazzulla's stubbornness. But real quick on the Sox, I wanted to ask you, do you guys think that if Breslow doesn't do what he needs to do in order to improve this year, that he's fired? And if so, do you believe that he will actually make an effort to improve this team at some point before the trade deadline, if not at the trade deadline? Because I don't put anything by the Red Sox, but I just can't see Breslow kind of going belly up and surrendering if he's going to get fired if he doesn't improve.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Gino, in that he'll want to save his own ass, so maybe you see a trade. But he's not known for making any kind of blockbuster in the middle of the season, especially if it's a team that's going to be, I think, continue to look rudderless. I don't know how much better they're going to be. The roster is what the roster is. But, yeah, you might see something so he can try to save his ass. But, no, if they're last place and one of the 4 or 5 worst teams in Major League Baseball, I think he's going to be out at the end of the year. And he should be.
It's one of those situations where we've seen it in recent years. Like Sweeney last year could have been fired for selling off all those parts, but ended up turning it around pretty quickly. When you have someone whose job depends on the now, making decisions at a trade deadline, it's kind of at war with what's best for the franchise. So I look at this year's team. If Aroldis Chapman is still having a career year come July, you should trade him. You should get prospects. If Jaren Duran somehow shows flashes of that player he was 2 years ago, you should trade him. They should be in sell mode because, like you said, Jim, this roster stinks. But then you have Breslow taking the podium Sunday morning right after firing Cora being like, we are still built to contend for an AL East crown and a long postseason run. And it's just sort of like, if you actually believe that, that's problematic, and you don't want that guy in charge of the team at the trade deadline.
Do you think he's doing what he's told? Do you think he's, I'm not on a hot seat because this is what they want me to do?
Yeah, in some sense. I mean, look, the firing of Cora, I think, trading for Crochet and then giving them that extension, I mean, that's all got the thumb of ownership on it.
Yeah.
But, you also had Sam Kennedy say last Sunday, too, that he's running the baseball operation. So I think that they're also kind of trying to step away and be like, hey, don't look at us. Yeah. We got nothing to do with this. This is now Craig Breslow's team, everyone. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Ari in Brookline on the Celtics. Go ahead.
All right, this is mainly for Murray and Cerrone over here. The Celtics suck. I'm a huge Celtics fan. I'm not a green teamer. I don't go to bed like happy and wake up happy. What the hell? What the hell? You're in Game 7 against the Philadelphia 76ers. Credit to Maxey, elite player. Nobody's taking that away. This whole Derek White thing, okay, I appreciate what he's done. He was like my favorite Celtic. They got to drop this guy's ass. You put Ron Harper Jr. in the year over the course of the regular season or even last night, there's a spark. They got to do something in Game 7. If they continue to just go in with this lazy attitude, this team is going to get friggin' porked in Game 7 on their home crowd in the first round.
They don't suck. Mazzulla should go deeper into his bench. I think that's evident. You were all over Neemias Queta yesterday, Cerrone, rightfully so, who now has 24 fouls and 18 made baskets in this series. And I think, look, given the energy that you saw from that second unit last night, I think they kind of made a case, like, can we go deeper into the bench here for Game 7? And if we get past this going forward?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. You have to use your team. This is what got you there. And no, they don't suck. And one thing, the Celtics don't suck, and the Sixers aren't as bad as we thought going into the season. I had to pull this just to make sure. Of course, we all know Paul George. He only played 37 games this season. Embiid, he only played 38 games. Quentin Grimes, well, he came off the bench. Excuse me. Sorry about that one. But Kelly Oubre only played 40 games this season. All these guys they're playing against now basically weren't there for most of the season. If the Sixers had this full roster, they wouldn't be the 7th seed. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
They'd be a much higher team. Now we're praising the Knicks and what they did. That Hawks team, they have no talent. They played hard and got where they got, but it was C.J. McCollum against the Knicks. When he got cold, that was all she wrote, and they were down. It felt like 40 in the first quarter yesterday. But it's all about matchups. Celtics get the Hawks matchup, they're cruising. But instead, they get the Sixers team that got right at the right time, But again, you had a 3-1 lead on this team. Early in the series, you played Shyman. You played Jordan Walsh, who was a plus 18 in one game without even taking a shot because of his defense and his hustle. And then as the game got tight, you built a 3-1 lead, like I mentioned yesterday. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and close this out. Let's get Cater on the floor. Let's just roll out 6 guys, and we got this. It's like, no, be consistent in what you've done for 80 games. Play your team, play your guys, keep your rotation as is, and you would have rolled this team. But instead, he tried to mess with the wrong things at the wrong time.
This Kelly Oubre, by the way, one of these days Maz has to do for Maz's tiers, team killers. You know, Jorge Posada for the Yankees was a Red Sox killer. Anytime you're watching a Patriots game, you find out Bernard Pollard's on the opposition. You're like, watch out for that guy. Who's he going to hurt? This Kelly Oubre, going back to the days of the Wizards, he just is a Celtics killer. It's because he ain't that good. It's so infuriating.
No, he's not, and they allow him to do that. They allow him to be that type of player, and he's a veteran who's smart. He understands what they're doing. He's still athletic on both ends. You see him getting the passing lanes. You see him being good defensively. His reads on Jaylen Brown are unbelievable. He sees all the tells. When Jaylen does one thing, he gets in position, and then he just falls to the floor. Offensive foul on Jaylen Brown. He did it. At one point, he was smirking in the first quarter because he did it to 3. He's the one drawing all the fouls on Cater on the screens. As soon as Cater sets the screen, he just crumbles to the floor, and he smiles and walks off. They have to recognize that, and they have to be a savvy team, too, and play the game both ways.
More of your calls coming up on an agenda-free Friday. As soon as someone drops off, you can get on at 617-779-0985. In the meantime, here's Michael Hurley with the headlines.
Boston's best sports talk. You can count on it.
2 plus 2 is 5.
Me sento un po' pacchiato perché
Felger and Maz.
Right now, the 76ers can up-fake and drive to the basket whenever they want because there's no rim protection, but at least give them a hard foul. And I hate to sound like Tommy, but you know what? Ron Harper did that.
A wicked hard foul.
Garza dunked in face and said, let's go, guys. It sucks that the bench has to be the guys to do that, but Mazzulla, does he even know they're there? Does he even know they're there? He uses them all year long, and when they're getting their asses kicked in Game 6 on the road, doesn't even look at them, plays them, and it becomes a 10-point game. Am I crazy? Here I am. Someone's probably like, Joe, you're talking about the bench. Well, hell, nobody else could play. Nobody else could make a shot. So in a way, I'm glad that the bench is showing Joe Mazzulla, dude, your rotations and adjustments just flat out suck. And it's been happening for multiple years now, and I got to say it now. I have to say it. If the Celtics lose a Game 7 at home after losing last year with one of the best rosters in the game, your job is on the line.
That game was so bad last night that I don't know about you guys, but when it's worse, I do want to listen and consume sports talk. I've always been that way before I even got into this. So that ends. And I go, you know what? I know our post game's done. Let me pop on and see if Joe's about to have a heart attack. And sure enough, that I tuned in at that moment. It was perfect. So he feels that Mazzulla's job should be on the line if they were to lose tomorrow night. Will that happen? I doubt it. Look, they just gave the guy an extension. Seems like the new owner, Bill Chisholm, loves him. If we were anywhere else, though, and it is a league, it just happened with the Knicks last year. You know, this guy who they extended, got out coached by Tom Thibodeau. Knicks go further, and I know that James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, is a nut, but he looked at him and said, we're good here. It is a league, as you well know, Cerrone, that if, these owners, if you don't accomplish what they have in their heads, you're gone. I would move on from Joe Mazzulla, considering how this team plays in the postseason, and if he didn't have the 24 super team, it has been series that get extended, like that one that Hurley was talking about earlier against the Hawks, and Quinn Snyder, who's like out-coaching him. He was stubborn enough to keep playing the way he kept playing when they were defending them well on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. They took a chunk out of them. There's time and time again, outside of the 24 super team, you're like, what is exactly you do here other than getting away? I'd move on. They won't, but they should consider it if they lose tomorrow night.
I've never been a big fan of Mazzulla, and I've been, strong on that. I've never been a huge fan of him. I always thought Cassell. I think Sam Cassell deserved an opportunity there to be head coach. I think he should be in some of these other positions come up around the league. I thought Sam Cassell would be the right guy for those jobs, but, look what happened in Denver. Denver won the championship, They've been good over and over again.
Right, Michael Malone out.
Malone's coaching the Tar Heels now. Him and Belichick and Chapel Hill together. Who would have thought that 3 years ago? You know what I'm saying? But it's good coaches do get fired in this league if you don't meet expectations. And the Celtics, everybody looked at them and said, man, good regular season, whatever. Tatum comes back. You're one of the favorites at least. You're a 2 seed. And then to go out like this against a team that's people looking at like it's not Embiid's team anymore. They're going through some things. Their coach is on the hot seat. And then here you are getting out-coached again. And you don't have the super team to bail you out of these situations. You have a good team, but you don't have the veteran players of the 40-year-old Al Horford, the Holiday who's been around forever. You don't have all those veterans that they don't wait for you to adjust. They make the adjustments in their own mind and can read things and then process information. But you don't have those guys now, and it doesn't look the same for you. You had a good regular season, but when you go back and look at the bottom of the NBA, the bottom third, you had a third of the league losing on purpose. I'm pretty sure that played into a lot of the wins, not just for the Celtics, but the Pistons and some of these other teams. But you struggled against good teams all season. This Sixers team beat you the exact same way in the first game of the season, and you still haven't learned from it. Here we are in the playoffs. Yeah, I think that is a fireable offense if you go out there and lose to this team.
Well, just simplify it. You know, this is Mazzulla's 4th year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have they won a playoff series? And this is hard to do when you're always the 1 or 2 seed. Have they won a playoff series where they were the underdog, where they had no business winning? No. I mean, the Mavericks were the Western Conference champion, and they had fat Luka Garza out there. I mean, not Luka Garza.
Doncic.
Luka Doncic out
Yeah.
there. It was a mess. So, but then you look at the series they lost. They lost to the Heat. They were better than the Heat. They lost to the Warriors. We kind of accepted that one. You know, they're a dynastic team at the end of the run. That's okay. And now if you end up losing to the Knicks, followed by the Sixers back-to-back years, you have no business losing those in the NBA, losing those series to those teams.
Not with their talent level.
I think I saw it last night on Twitter. If Mazzulla loses this series, this would be it's 3 playoff series losses. They were favored in all 3. And this would be if they lose tomorrow.
Who didn't have Celtics in 5 in this one? I don't think anyone in the country.
Sixers fans had Celtics in 5.
Yeah. Well, if they didn't, they had Celtics in 4.
Yeah.
Like that's no one had this going this deep to begin with.
Stanley, what'd you make of last night?
I'm gonna be honest. Even though I was at my job, I just couldn't listen to Grandy and all them just be like so pessimistic at the end. And then my boy Murray. I mean, yes, he went on a tangent. I mean, shoot, we could have called Life Alert for my guy over there, but damn. But realistically, gentlemen, I got to say this. You are 100% right. On 2 occasions on this radio station, I got the phone hung up on me for saying how Joe Mazzulla is low-key overrated. Because remember, this is low-key 2 years ago, was low-key the same team that Mr. Udoka brought to the finals, but, I mean, he didn't have the experience. I mean, I feel like things would have been different, but at the end of the day, it's just like I don't think he makes adjustments. You remember, I think I remember saying to Fogle one time we were on the air. I said, I call him No Timeout Joe because he takes forever to make a timeout, to make adjustments, and those 2 vets that you just brought up bailed him out. And the last take that I want to make, I was 9 years old when FSN New England was hosting these playoff games, and Comcast and NBC, whatever. Now that this new contract is in, I find it horrible or disgusting that we can't even watch most of our games. Because, traditionally our first games are always on the local channel.
Right.
We still hear Tommy and Mike. It's kind of sad. I'm at Smoky Bones or I'm at my job. I can't even watch it.
Oh, and thanks for the call, Stanley. It's so frustrating. It's I even read, not that I care that much about college hoops, but Duke is getting 3 exclusive games on Amazon next year or next season. Like, it's just a pain in the ass to try to consume these games. Now, I was just happy last night because I heard that this was Peacock only last night. That I took my
NBC Sports.
Yeah, I took my Xfinity remote because people said, "Well, no, there's the big NBC Sports channel." I'm like, "Do I have that?" So then I hit the button and went Celtics. And sure enough, it popped up. I was like, yes, I get to at least flip around during the commercial breaks because that's one of the things I hate the most.
I don't
when
get
you
that
stream.
channel. I have cable. I don't have that. Whatever NBC Sports Network. It was there, and then it was gone, and it's not back there yet.
No.
I was staying. I was at a hotel, and I turned on the TV, and it was like everything but NBC Sports. So I was sitting there with the tablet watching the Celtics game. This is ridiculous.
Even the other night, the Celtics were on regular TV, but the Knicks were on Prime or something.
Yeah,
and it's just I'm not flipping anymore. Like,
I just want to be able to flip.
I want to watch 3 minutes at a time,
and that's
flip
the thing.
back.
You have 3. That's the bigger problem. You have 3 NBA games on one night. Each one is on something different, and you're watching one, and you're like, wait, why is there a Knicks score in the corner? Where is that? I didn't know that game, but they're on 3 different networks at the same time. And it's like, come on, you got either they're all on Prime back to back, you can watch them, or put them all on TV, but just having them all over the place, I think is too much.
Full phone lines on the Celtics. We'll continue to get to your calls in our long commercial-free segment coming up next, along with a giveaway here on Felger and Mass.
I want to get to the gossip first. Everything you said is right.
Felger and Mass, the Sports Zone.
Relentless, like almost blinders on desire to get Derek going, even though it became clear at some point in the series that he just didn't have it. And I think you put it well there, John. It's not all on him, but I think it reflects their approach in the series that they ignored the short term here, a series that they had to win and put away to try to achieve some things for the longer term playoff run here. And now it is blown up in their face. And they've had no choice but to just rely on Brown and Tatum to save them because they haven't developed their depth fully here. They haven't consistently utilized the guys deep on their bench. Like, I think there's a lot of almost coaching arrogance here. I mean, I know we'll get to blame pies in a bit here, but this falls on Joe to me.
When you get the likes of Bobby Manning, who usually joins Gasper and I during the Celtics Hour on Saturdays, turning on you and calling you arrogant, Joe Mazzulla, you might want to rethink your methods and at least maybe go deeper into your bench. I don't think they're going to get any less 3-centric, but I don't know. I consider going a little bit deeper in your bench. But right to your calls here on Agenda-Free Friday. Obviously going to be Celtics heavy today. What with that hideous loss, we're getting a Game 7 tomorrow night. 617-779-0985. Tom and Pawtucket, you're next here on Felger and Mass. Hello, Tom.
Hey, what's happening, guys? Listen, real quick. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm not a green teamer, but my hate levels are flying through the roof. The game on Peacock last night, I'm trying to watch with my 89-year-old dad. He doesn't have Peacock. No more game. And you know what? I think the Knicks have kind of showed the rest of the league, if you lean on these guys, crawl in their head a little bit, they're mentally weak, and they lose that front-runner status. And, Cerrone, why aren't these guys going to the rim? If the three isn't falling, why aren't they going inside? That's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why. And I've been big on, you watch Tatum and Brown and some of these other guys off season. Tatum got the documentary of him recovering. Jaylen Brown talks, I heard Maxwell mention this. The guy can hold his breath underwater for 8 minutes. Why are you standing on the 3-point line? What's the point? Get down there and, sprint.
You're built for this.
You're built for this. Is why you lift the weights. This is why you put on the weight. Jason Tatum, you can lift all the big weight. You can be strong. So why are you guys playing with so much finesse? Now's the time to go to the basket. Now's the time to put Embiid in foul trouble. Get him. I don't think Embiid's drawn a foul since he's been playing. No one's going at him. No one's challenging him. Make him move his feet. Make him show that he's in game shape. Go to the basket. Kelly Oubre, he can defend you on the perimeter. You're bigger than him. Take him down in the paint. Make him foul you. Get him out of the game. By playing finesse and playing on the 3-point line, it's allowing Philly just to have a 6-man rotation. Nobody's tired. Nobody's in foul trouble. And they're allowed to just do whatever they want to do. And it just relaxing. And you're the one scrambling because you're not taking it to them. And I can't figure out why they won't do it. And it just seems like it's an order from up top. They're being told to do it, and they're doing it.
Can I ask you guys a question? We talked earlier, would you consider sitting Tatum for Game 7 given the calf injury? Do you consider the possibility of him doing the Superman thing he did against the Sixers in Game 7 a few years ago? Because remember, they were down 3-2 in that series. He hit, I think, 3 threes in a row in Game 6
something like that,
in Philly to force the Game 7. And I think he had 51, 11, and 8. He was just dominant. Embiid faded away. Harden was useless. Like, we're pretty down from last night. Is that there, do you think, in Jason Tatum right now?
He showed a flash of that, I thought, in the first game in Philly.
Yeah, he closed them out.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's possible. To what you said earlier, Michael, in that, like, he's dealt with, obviously, this traumatic injury. Now it's this other leg. Calf can lead to Achilles again. How are you not thinking about that? I know, look, I get it. I'm no pro athlete, but I know if this happened to me, that's all I'd be thinking about. Like, what, I'm going to blow out this next one? This whole cycle is going to replay itself? F this. Like, or I'm not going to be myself. I'm not going to be comfortable. So, yes, he has the ability to do it. Sure, we've seen it. He's done it. There was a flash in this series, but I think he might be preoccupied with that calf.
I think earlier in the game yesterday, he was showing flashes of that. Like, he had 9 and 10 in the first quarter. He hit a 3 from the top of the key and a couple threes and kind of kept him in. I'm like, oh, he's going to have himself a big night.
And they were
tonight.
going in clean, too.
Yeah, they were. And I'm like, okay. Then he goes up, he misses free throws. So, oh, my God, what is going on here? But.
And you meant just quick, they flashed to Sam Cassell and he hit your free throws. I loved seeing that. At least someone,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Fire.
Somebody this is why I'm big on Sam Cassell. A guy, and I'm big on all the guys who played when the NBA was at its grimiest. Those guys went through so many wars and so many battles. The guy, he played his best ball in the 90s. He's going to take the clipboard and throw it to the side. No analytics, no numbers. Can you guys please go play basketball? Do what you do. Kind of have fun with it or whatever, but play basketball. Don't show me all these clips of you guys in the gym in the offseason, and you're going to the lane, you're hitting step backs from mid-range, and then you do none of that stuff in an NBA game. Meanwhile, Paul George, playoff P, is over there. He's hitting mid-range. He's getting layups. He's step-back threes. He's playing basketball. Maxi's playing basketball. Embiid from all three levels. He's either getting a dunk, he's hitting a mid-range free throw jumper, or he's shooting threes from the top of the key. You guys are just being one-dimensional, kind of playing like robots. Go play basketball and play with some energy and play with some effort. And we're not seeing none of that. I can't figure it out.
You guys know how many playoff games Sam Cassell played? 136. You know what he shot from the free throw line? 85%.
Wow.
Didn't miss his free throws.
When the NBA was in its grimiest, I like that. No, he definitely. I mean, he was that dude.
They didn't win those championships in Houston without Sam Cassell. He was a rookie when he came in his first time.
They might not win the championship in 08 without him. Just his presence alone.
You guys, that's a great example. That 08 team had a bunch of guys. They didn't care about Doc Rivers' plays or what he was drawing up. P.J. Brown's from that era. Posey had already won in Miami. Eddie House had been around. Even Scott Pollard was on those Kings teams years, early late 2000s, early 2000s, whatever. You had a bunch of guys, just with Paul Ray and all those guys. They didn't need the clipboard. They knew it had to be done. They don't. You see the clips of Kevin. They don't want to play pick and roll with us. We're not even worried about that. Just give me the ball and get out of the way. I'm not seeing none of that from the Celtics team. And it's on Tatum, it's on Brown. They have to be the ones to go out there and play with that swagger like, y'all can't stop me. You can't stop us. And I'm not seeing none of that from either one of those guys.
More of your calls coming up on the Celtics. But first, call number 10 to the contest line right now at 617-931-0985. You will get to pick. You get to pick a pair of tickets to your choice of one of the following concerts. You ready? Sammy Hagar, the Red Rocker, the Black Crowes, David Lee Roth, Boomsy Boomsy Bop, and Hardy. No, not the gentleman who works with Fred Toucher in the morning. I think he's a country artist. Either way, this is all to celebrate Live Nation's Summer of Live, happening now through May 5th. Tickets to select shows are just $30, so visit livenation.com to purchase yours. Again, 617-931-0985. Call number 10 to the contest line. You get to pick a pair of tickets to one of those 4 shows. All right, headlines here with Michael Hurley, and then right back to your calls on the Celtics here on Agenda Free Friday on Felger and Mass.